This briefing is concerning the proposed election to remove the parkland designation from city-owned property located at 3811 South Beltline Road and 4600 Mercury Road. Just a little bit of history from the handout that's being handed to you. The first side shows 6 tracks. It was originally 7 tracks that were purchased from HUD back in 1994 by the city. The 7th track was traded off in, I believe, 2000. So there are 6 remaining tracks. If you flip that over, on the other side, there are the 4 tracks that we're talking about as far as the special election. Although the tracks are owned by the city of Mesquite, they are located within Balch Springs city limits. Over the past couple years, both cities have been approached by and asked by developers to work with them to develop the property, but there are property restrictions that would prevent that from happening. The first is its designation as parkland. So there are a total of 3 actions required. The first one is what we're doing tonight, is just briefing council on the required actions in the schedule. The second action would be on January 22nd, where council will be asked to approve the ballot language. And then the final action will be on February 4th, where council will be asked to call the election via resolution. And that's it.
And I believe this was through a briefing we had a few months ago with someone interested in
Yes, sir.
this property. Okay. Councilman Miklos?
Yes. So I understand the requirement that it go before the voters
Yes, sir.
to undesignate parkland.
Right.
Is there a particular reason why we need to do it at the May general election instead of the November general election? And what would be the cost to the city on what's necessitating May versus November?
Mr. Miklos, we've been working with some developers who are interested, and we're trying to adhere to that schedule. We've kind of had our hands tied a little bit by working with federal government due to the HUD restrictions on this. So we missed the last election time frame. We were just trying to move forward so the developers can get moving on it. The city of Balch Springs is going to participate in the cost of the election with us to
share the cost?
To share the cost, yes, sir. About 50-50.
I'm just letting you know my concern is that if the school district cancels their election because there's nothing contested, are we going to have a $120,000, $130,000 bill that we're splitting with Balch Springs? I mean, what's the potential cost? I understand if we got to, because this is a requirement to remove a roadblock in order to allow this to develop. I'm just trying to understand the potential cost.
Estimate that was given to us by Dallas County and through the city secretary's office was a $60,000 total election cost.
So we split that 50-50 and
Yes,
it
sir.
would be
Yes,
30
sir.
for us.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Also, the anticipation would be that whoever purchased it would also, at that time, reimburse. So, yes, it would be. But there's no guarantees.
Yes, sir.
I do understand that.
And Cliff, this is pretty early, but when we do bond elections, we give information to the public in a non-biased way. How does that work in this context?
Very similar process. We do a public education, explain the reasons why we don't go out and advocate for or against, but we explain what the purpose is, why we have to go through an election, and what the intended outcome would be.
And for next meeting, this is probably pretty early. I hope we can find some alternatives other than removal of parkland. That phrase in that sequence. I don't know if there's other alternatives, but when I read that, I think, well, this is existing or could be very soon.
Okay. Yeah.
Are not going to be because of this.
I'm sure we've got great communications people who can come up with a better wording.
Thanks.
Any other questions on this for Mr. Fox? And this is just a briefing today,
Yeah,
right?
just a briefing, sir.
All right. Thank you.